Abusia for Alexander AfenyoMarkins, the minority leader. Honorable Alexander AfenyoMarkins, akope asem edi amane hon. Yes, it is alleged so akope asem edi amane hon na efri gold board Sami Jemfi sensem $1.7 billion. Ocha gold board atumi ahwere no. Abusia atumi bie nsem so ama Alexander AfenyoMarkins akoto asem mu. Ni na ne se Sami Jemfi, lawyer Sami Jemfi, CEO of a good board, Eba Mountain, about this kind allegations of a $1.7 billion loss, a good board about Mountain, at the reply at the Alexander AfenyoMarkins. Now reply the Munabusia, Odin Komobi said now Alexander AfenyoMarkins, Abrana war a ECG, no DN and our year or Abusia Ujina so exposed a Alexander AfenyoMarkins, Nanya, some to say, one somewhere, Aba Mountain, HSA. Reply and answer, and somewhere a year. Lawyer Sami Jemfi eka ye na how utumi like osi respond to ye minority leader no abusua enye ne kwan so na sansem na Alexander sorry lawyer Sami Jemfi do to no I expose nsema sesem no weka say let's say EOCO take a quick action against Alexander AfenyoMarkins over $8 billion Ghana cedis loss ECG abla no ye board chair and I read EOCO to summon former ECG board chairman Alexander AfenyoMarkins over $8 billion Ghana cedis lost. Abusia just say idea EOCO they see omo beto omo nsa e de afre ya papa the minority leader Alexander AfenyoMarkins just say abusia omo no akwakwatena ase na investigation yes sir omo no abusia omo aye e de afa this kind $8 billion Ghana cedis ho Alexander AfenyoMarkins abusia na Loudsilencetv ya yenipa Kevin Okobedu Taylor aba bonten ede nsem ede abana busuya enne Alexander atensem wakoka asem atensem ahun nsem a enya asem ketwa na Kevin Taylor atumi ya expose na enya asem ketwa we dey ma meka so ma meka say 30% connect nkoma aba bonten a efa Alexander AfenyoMarkins na se wi abomode ase beche ya dwe we comment section ha eda so aye be media ji che ha yini atem nemum ya adwen e na ye kire ye damase.
What AfenyoMarkins stands for. He's a liar. Every liar is a thief. This is a man who slaps police officers. This is a man who deliberately disrespects the president by calling a woman who has been appointed by the president to take a petition from. This is a fool. This is a man who sent thugs to go after another man that he took his wife. His brother raped, trying to molest somebody's son. This is a man who called somebody in court, somebody fighting for the lives of his kids to threaten them. This is a fool who sends his colleague from his law firm to adapt people's kids from their school. He's a filthy, dirty fool. Onimunyansa. This is somebody who stood in public trying to say that judges, our Supreme Court judges, without any evidence, said on national television that our Supreme Court judges ganged up, came together. This guy, who is a filthy lawyer, is not somebody to be trusted. Oh, yeah, Jimmy Four. He is doing everything possible to keep this position that he has failed in. He came to meet 130-something people in parliament. Because of his foolishness and stupidity, they have all left parliament. This is a guy who can never be a leader of a group. Consistently lies about everything, malign people and try to destroy their lives in the name of politics. We are not supposed to entertain AfenyoMarkins and his foolishness. He proves nothing. He has no evidence. All that he does is spits around, stupidly protecting Tokon, who was found guilty of a crime. And what makes this guy an honorable fool for us to be entertaining in parliament? We sit in Ghana. This young man, Sami Jemfi, responds to this fool, and the MPP are saying, oh, you talk back at AfenyoMarkins, the idiot. But when he was speaking, why didn't you people question him? The guy has been a consistent fool who does not have any respect with him. Me a minority leader, a minority of 88 piglets. None of these people are able to sit this guy down to say, dear, oh, you know, say party, no. Before you go out to speak, don't speak like the salakau. Have some evidence. You see Patricia PJ, mamia brewa poso ne to dwene na akwara kitikiti we obetu na twempena awunechi edinechi ma ojimi. No evidence. Impenifo da ne nkwara madani ejimi for because of politics. We should swallow every nonsense. The APP knows what's better for them. Until they change this dwarf, they can never win power. And the next 42 years is going to multiply to 60 years. And this is what we are talking about. We are talking about people who are not leaders. Where in this world now the team every first division, every premiership, akwa third division, na nkwasi afọ mo da ho deep coach nechi. Akwa we di monim ko elections na mo tumi, more power. Mo ye wiase bibia. This guy could not win power for you. Mo da ho di jimi we echi. Every single day, screaming, backing, slapping policemen, going against the law, stupidly showing his ignorance at every corner that he finds himself. And you people think you are doing something different. You are doing nothing. The guy is a piece of crap. He's garbage. He does not understand his environment and how he needs to act. Into more mana, more MPP, he is just using you for money. What he came to do against Sami Jemfi was to intimidate him and extort. That is what he does. It was to extort from him. It was to make him feel, say, you are doing something wrong, but there's nothing wrong. And that is his modus. He has been doing this for years. Let me attack him. Let him threaten him. Me say we NPP, NDC appointee. Now we hear Juma na. No fool should scare you. You bet you what to mob dam. Power sasa, power besa sasa. And that is his strategy. Otna ECG as a board chair. Obuboka buburo kwasi ampenyi nkoso dem. Ghana and Yankano Currentaffairs. AfenyoMarkins, when he slapped a police officer, he was supposed to be jailed. The Attorney General, when I meant to say, this Attorney General has a problem. AfenyoMarkins should be facing trial. And we sit in Ghana, Jimmy Bianyama to me, 87 piglets walking on the streets of Ghana, misbehaving and fooling themselves. Yachiwun to me, his actions has caused a lot of deaths. Nankwasi afwa motokan kan to say yantiasie, mo bodam, mo petumi, mo de yeden. What do you need the power for? A day in honorable woman. What makes you honorable people? Na kwa to Facebook no kuta evidence no kasa. Now who was a leader of 87 piglets? You have no evidence. How different are you from that person? And these are people who are not supposed to be addressed as honorable. AfenyoMarkins is a bully. He's an extortionist. On Kanokre, that is what he has been doing in his political life. Then you are going to threaten somebody, he will go to jail. In the political life, nobody is going to fall for this. Obia wedi boni also go jail no, he needs to go to jail. Power sesa o chirichia munchi obi antum kwasi asembe no. Now fighting the corruption here the same. Ye di mo atema mo say ye muade unimi age aka krebni me di 50 years. Kwasia unimi age unhinim aka krebni me di 50 years. Otu ase Kevin Taylor small boy no obra mabo bi. Mo bodam. A politician needs to respect himself. And so ambunu ho e be di natem and no fool can speak. Then obey. I am telling you, say, a politician will do it with Jimmy. And that guy is a typical example of a fool. Now, a whole political party, you had this number in parliament. Akwa did leader ever seen there where you nipa almost over half of your party lose elections. Now, Jimmy did hey leader, hey way or Jimmy, more to me. Football team third division for Crampo H and Yomu coach. Akwa odi manimu we Jimmy. Ya catch them. You consistently follow this fool. On fa bibia meka mo ho. It's just to scream. All that he does is he pulls his dick out and follow Tokonu and say Tokonu come to power. Tokonu come to power. Pissing himself off. Every day we're trying to quarter and Tokonu come to power. You think Tokonu Ghana belongs to her? Tokonu, you didn't think Ghana belongs to her? There and nobody can impose Tokonu on anyone in Ghana. Yes. O araba Tokonu na ko yere papa yi man no o so na pado bi ozeb na watcho kwotene nam Tokonu beba Tokonu beba CJ Tokonu. You think you are stupid in this country? What Tokonu deserves is what she's gotten. We are not going to entertain foolishness. Unya to me ajeli obia, but today the law needs to apply. Whoever is found guilty needs to go inside. Mo bodam. After this short break, we will continue the show. We are going to kill another Jandam.
Beyond Galamsey, beyond the 24-hour economy, was yet the fight against corruption. And I hear the NDC easily and readily and quickly saying, there are no major scandals, Hey, NDC mpamuchoma mamutimu nyamudu muna mwa pa muntia. And you're my koso. And you may cost, and if you are not careful, and the elections come as a motion for the president of today will be amazed of certain corruptible acts in this administration. In fact, the fight against corruption, because they are more weakened. The knowledge prosecutor and some of the Baba. Yeah, we don't have.
And it's something about
so the fight against the fight against corruption
was a terrible move.
Sadia no mujina so muye no. And no it weakens your base.
The bull fruit so. Tana military radio see you because for me anyway. Kronon kwa these two people. Bribe we call Ghana mujini nyina. Eche am appointee B position. No mo sesika no honom tata no se nsonkro nsuo. Asam o kanyanse be ne wom. Ai my president man hwe ya krono koso corruption koso. What is your job? What is your job? O ma me no papa no mutiti nkurase a wo se o tenkan ye adwuma mo no. What is your job? Now what to say corruption koso na no corruption bebre ewo hen what are you trying to create here? Impression man will create. And a president no. What is your job? Since Aban Weber power, and for you've not been able to bring one document. You know why? Because you have nothing. When there's nothing, you want to force something. Why do people want to force corruption? When there is nothing, you can bring anything. The issue is, if you want to say corruption, because what you saying, why will you say contract or on sorrow to so over tonight asampa okasana to for follow the document and bring them and show to Ghana for it. If you are saying corruption is cost, then you are involved. Because the corruption is cost, now some person can be a war. Now we are comfort, then if you know that there's corruption going on and you cannot, as a journalist, also you're some troni, also you're some troni, oh dear, oh you're Kotibeka, Sebio, Uno Telepe, oh you're Kotibeka. Now what you man is saying, what when you say corruption is cost, what is your job? Why are you sitting in the studio and telling Ghana for President Mudi Boko position? You see, the question is, where is the corruption? You are sounding like you know where it is. Why don't you bring it out? Speculation. Journalism, where we are Ghana, speculation. Now, he went ahead to say, a year the knowledge prosecutor, Aban we buy cases be with him. But the issue here is, if a case does not hold ground, why should the Attorney General go through the case? Go ahead with the case. The same thing I will say, the Attorney General, will discontinue cases. We are talking about how many people facing trial now. Into you are saying, the fight against corruption. The fight against corruption, this government is doing well. Because you know why? How many people are standing trial today? You are talking about cases they came to meet and did not continue. Now, how many people too are facing trial today? Oh, you are looking at only the right hand. Look at the left hand and do your assessment. Logically, you are not making any sense. The government came to power. They looked at some cases. They feel those cases, from the evidence deduced from it, it does not hold any power. They discontinue the case. This same government has over 70 people standing trial now. Some have even been there in the history of Ghana. 1 year jail in 25 years for Galamseda. But you put now why I want to tell a part two all because you want to create problems where there are no problems. You want to create an impression. Now, enkrana what na obitias enkrigwa try say what didn't no crime no unim corruption na auto and we only omo na ebo omo a wo say omo corrupt na jo Mahama bedu no later no o ye kronfo okomoma usika omo wie sika ma omo ma usika sha ho ene jan ntumi nka no nti unim say omo wie sika but because they give you money no ntumi nka. Hey, corruption ekoso. Listen to this twerp. Mo jimi na moti it radio so.
Beyond Galamsey, beyond the 24-hour economy, was the fight against corruption. And I hear the NDC easily and readily and quickly saying, there are no major scandals, there are no major scandals. Hey, NDC mpamuchoma mamutimu nyamudu muna mo apa muntia. And you're my koso. And you may cost, and if you are not careful, and the elections come as a motion for the president of today will be amazed of certain corruptible acts in this administration. In fact, the fight against corruption, because they are more weakened. The knowledge prosecutor and some of the Baba. Yeah, we don't have.
And it's something about
so the fight against the fight against corruption
was a terrible move.
Sadia no mujina so muye no. And no it weakens your base.
What kind of analysis or tell it to do? Analysis better than this. About power. Is this the first time Attorney General filing nolli prosequa in Ghana. Let's go back to Apachino time as Attorney General. Is it the first time in the history of Ghana Attorney General Biaba office a case they want to discontinue it? Is it the first time? But in the history of the Republic of Ghana, see that the fight against corruption, the NDC, they have done well. Because in the history of the Republic of Ghana, nobody, no Galamsey Kingpin has been jailed in the history of Ghana. See that 20 years. In the history of Ghana, this is the first time about 60 people are standing trial for different kinds of corruption. You sit there, now I want to tell a party to say, no, you are not making sense. Look at the thing with some reason. You are talking like corruption. Hey, NDC for corruption equals so. Now, corruption, I don't know, can because corruption equals so. The only one can want to commit a crime. Now, what to work say corruption? That means you are speculating. If you are not speculating, then you are involved. But only say corruption equals so. CEO say amoko birthday parties ko mu fie no omo na maboma no omo musika enitire butumi nka into betena corruption dey because who can ho but so who can ho as a journalist who is legit in discussing issues, you will point out and show evidence. When I was exposing the NPP, I didn't come here to just speak. I showed you documentations. Why can't you do that? Because money say politicians and the chess cano and it's on to me cano. Because what stops you from exposing the corruption? Because that's your job. You are the gatekeeper. You are supposed to expose them. But you sit here and you speculate. If you are not speculating, if you are not taking money, tell us who is corrupt in this government. Edian kwasia journalism no. Corruption equals to who only obi you form you mutu mi ko appointees wako jiska. Mo ko appointees wako jiska debia. Mo ko appointees wako jiska debia. So you are scared to talk about them. Because some of you have contracts in this government. Who obi ni omahene. Mo ko appointees wako jiska. Someone said they are legitimate. Why can't you mention? Because if somebody is stealing, why can't you do it with documentations to prove a point, to let Ghanaians know say Juma Oyeno and yet because of Obi na no kwara person di uye or tell a part 2. Obama say alewa ought to talk a can kwasiasem, and this is the kind of journalism they have done for years. Speculative journalism. Speculative journalism. Yanki kansam, aban wasun kwara obi wiesika. That's fine. Where is your evidence? Aban was some quite obi wiesika. Where is your fucking evidence? What is the Ghana and kwasiasem na mo say mine? Ye be Mike Tuma or funche bia peso kasa. Tell me, because you are thieves, you are criminals, because you are taking money from appointees and ministers, because they are giving you money, you are scared to mention exactly who is involved in the corruption. Why should I be scared of a politician, an appointee who is involved in corruption? Why should I be scared? It is because you are thieves. We are before. So you are always speculating. Then I stop you from saying it. Now let me kill another Jandam, the same two stupid dogs.
One other reminder was here, they come man, and it's been almost 2 years in this administration. Man, if you take out the economic performance, credit will go to the finance ministry as fiscal managers, NABA Bank of Ghana as monetary policy managers, and the agencies under the Ministry of Finance, for example, into Obebo Gold Board and all of those other agencies. Economic performance is stellar. I mean, inflation, abaform, CD to the other currencies relatively are very stable. It is difficult to now then point to any other sector in the last 2 years. BB way abayno aya what that monumental effect. No, it will be difficult. I think it's one thing the president may have to also watch, because yes, on the economic front, fantastic. He promised he will reset the economy. I think as far as the macroeconomic indicators are concerned, people have raised issues about its effect on the macro, on the micro, amount for
the bigger one.
Yes, in the bigger one, effect on the smaller one. We can have an argument, but I think generally on the economy, fine. But when you go outside of that, now Opesa will pinpoint any other thing for the past 2 years now. Yes, he would say it's a big push. It will be one. Yasuso niomani bebre soa. Inti kakran kiti bebre. And say dan crystallize. Inti you don't really see the effect of a lot of the things. And I think that is one thing. So I was all man penny. Because I know people will go like, was there so be a throw be in say. Man penny will buy apart from inflation.
Messi, Obi, Omo to say the Obusa MPP on the free SHS. San Omo Tojum. Omo Tojum. And when you put in these reminders, they become upset. They become Messi. We will continuously put in these reminders, and then you can keep getting yourself upset. You chose to lead. You chose to govern. You came to us campaigning. In fact, pleading and begging. Why is it difficult for you when we put in reminders of Nyoma Wankasa, Nyamen and Besau? And Nyoma Wankasa?
Yeah, but sir,
what is it?
Maybe or buy a new master son.
Oh, now what does it? Well, then, Nobi, an admission is not any challenge thing. Now, we are one more come court here. Moses obey honest person now, council Mukana, and some to Temkana, judge, will be investigate, will be I don't know, and of course. And as you say, you're an idiot, Obi. A lot of.
But what kind of journalism is this? What kind of journalism is this? Do you have to be heard? Do you have to say something? What's the 2 Miyama Obi? What the 2 Miyama in 4 years? Open monumental project. What is monumental project? When he started speaking, we singled out the finance minister. Obviously, we all know that.